Hey YouTube! So, it's actually my last day of living in Azerbaijan, living in Baku. A whole year has passed again, and I realized I never did a gay travel guide review for here, so I figured it's high time. So, for those of you guys who know how this works by now, first part is gay travel information, second part is general information, third part is if there's any stories. I don't think if I have any stories. Maybe I have some stories. Alright. But before I get into... No, let's just go right ahead. Let's go on to the first part. So part one. Baku, gay travel destination. Not really. So when I first moved to Azerbaijan, I was actually very pleasantly surprised at how liberal it seemed to me. For those people who don't really know where this is one of those countries that nobody's ever heard of and nobody knows where it is. So something that's really interesting about Azerbaijan is it's kind of like on this precipice of belonging to all these different parts of the world. So depending on how you view it, it can be considered part of the Middle East, it can be considered part of Central Asia, it can be considered part of Europe. Most Azeri people are Muslim, and in that they do probably, for a lot of people, fall more into the Middle Eastern concept of the world. At the same time, I gotta say that Azerbaijan is very secular, and the Azeri people are very secular. They're very proud of being secular. They have no interest really in being more religious than they are. And I feel the Azeri people themselves are more drawn to Europe conceptually than they are to the Middle East. So the reason I'm bringing this up is just because I was going to say that I found when I came here, I was really pleasantly surprised. It has a very European feel. The people they're more conservative in dress and stuff like that, which would be befitting to a Muslim country. But overall, it was very relaxed here. Having said that, I think 2 months into moving here, there was a big raid, and I think like 100. Don't quote me on this, but something ridiculous. Like 100 people were arrested. And depending on what news sources you were reading, they were saying it was either they were raiding like a gay club and arresting gay people, but the other news sources were saying that it had to do with like prostitution, like it was some kind of prostitution ring or something like that. So I don't really know what the true answer is there, but I definitely think that's a little something to keep in the back of your mind. So I don't know. I mean, this is like I said already in the videos I made for Georgia, and I made for Armenia, and I made for Kazakhstan, and all these places. Like this is in general not really a part of the world where you should go if you're like, oh my God, I'm really looking, I really want to experience gay life and gay culture and, you know, bars and clubs and parades and stuff like that. Like, you're not going to find that here. Like I said, on the one hand, from the south, they're attached to the Middle East, and there's all this like influence from Islam, and from the north, there's all this like pressure from Russia and having been part of the USSR at some point in time. And these are both forces that are very non-gay friendly forces. So, but my personal feeling is that this country is safe and relatively open-minded compared to a lot of the neighboring countries. So if you're really like, I want to see one of the Caspian countries, and I don't think you have to be overly paranoid coming here in terms of, you know, police violence or something like that. Having said that, I personally find that, you know, the Promenade can be kind of cruisy, and Ganjalik Mall can be kind of cruisy, Fountain Square can be kind of cruisy, That's where like all the high-end shops are. That's where like the Starbucks are. Pretty much any country you go to a Starbucks, you're gonna find gay people. In terms of gay bars and clubs, there's no official ones. They do have some gay-friendly bars and clubs that I've been told about, and there is definitely. I think this is something you need to find out when you get here. Like, there's no point in really telling you guys now because like the venue always changes. But I think like every 3 to 4 weeks, there's like an official gay night or something that is organized by the gay youth here. But that's something like if you come here, you kind of have to speak to the local people and find out if they know anything, like where it's going to be, when it's going to happen the next time. It's definitely not something that happens on a regular basis or anything like that. I'm also want to say that Azerbaijan is one of those countries that it doesn't offer a lot of job opportunities. And so a lot of young people, once they finish university, do not stay in this country. They go to Europe or the USA to try to find more job opportunities. Having said that, the reason I'm saying this is I think if you come here, you're going to find like this divide in terms of what kind of gay men you're going to meet. You're either going to meet very, very young gay men, like 18 to maybe 21, 22, who are still finishing university, or you're going to find the much older, probably married, closeted type gay guy. So you're not going to find a lot of men in their late 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s, because most of those people, if they have the chance, they're going to leave the country to try to find job opportunities somewhere else, which has kind of been one of the reasons why I personally have not done a lot of dating here, just because I'm not interested in people who are under 25, and not interested in people who are over probably like 40, 45 in terms of dating. So keep that in mind. And of course, as always, you have the option of going online. I would say that the gay app of choice in this part of the world is called Hornet, more so than Grindr or something like that. So you're definitely going to find local people on Hornet if you're looking. Okay, so that's it for part 1. Part 2, things that I think are worth seeing in general. So I have to tell you, I have kind of mixed feelings about Azerbaijan. I don't know if it's a place that I would recommend people go out of their way to see. So if you live far away from this part of the world, would it be worth coming here just for Azerbaijan? I don't think it would be, just to be completely honest and fair with you guys. Now, if you're going to say, okay, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do Georgia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, those are like the 3 countries around here I think, for me, were the most interesting. Then I would say, okay, if you're going to take like 2-3 weeks and do a couple of countries, yes. But just to come for Azerbaijan, I don't know if it's going to be worth your time and money. And as of right now, I think the visa is still rather complicated. I heard that they're trying to change it to where the visa is a visa on arrival, which I think would help a lot in terms of tourism and stuff, because my visa to come here was a real pain in the butt, which I'm not really used to as a German citizen, because German passports tend to not have that hard of a time in terms of getting visas and stuff. Okay, but if you do decide to come here, I will say, even though I just said that I don't know if it's going to be that interesting for you, I do think Baku, the capital and the by far biggest city in Azerbaijan, is very beautiful. It's actually a very, very beautiful city. And I actually find it's very sad that it is so unknown because of the fact that it is so nice. At the same time, even though I'm saying it's very nice, I have to say it's very fake. It's going to sound kind of weird. So the first president of Azerbaijan like I said, the people here are very secular. They're very drawn to Europe. I think they're trying to disassociate themselves with the Middle East. They definitely see themselves more as Europeans, which you can debate if you want. And they've kind of completely rebuilt Baku in their own image. So they've kind of built it in this mix of old Venetian building styles with like a little bit of like a Middle Eastern flair to it. It's very beautiful. There's some streets that you walk down and you feel like you're on the Champs-Élysées. Like there's just like these buildings are just very, you know, they have the columns and the beautiful embellishments and stuff, and it's very beautiful to look at. But if you kind of know about the history of Baku, you know that all these buildings are maybe 40, 50 years old at the most, if they're that old. Some of them are only like 20, 10 years old. You know, they're still really heavily building in Baku, and they're constantly tearing down old parts of the city and building them up to all kind of look like this wannabe European metropolitan area. So it's kind of like this mixed bag. Like in the one way, it is visually very beautiful, but on the other hand, it's very inauthentic. So it's kind of strange. It's beautiful to walk around and to look at if you find that kind of architecture beautiful, which I personally do. But yeah, it's definitely kind of strange, especially seeing some of how they go about tearing down some of the old parts of the city. And you know, I don't know if that's really completely okay what they're doing, because it looks like they're basically forcing people out of their homes and ripping those homes down and putting up buildings that they want. I'm assuming they're resettling those people, but I don't know if that's completely morally or ethically correct. So besides Baku being a very beautiful city, I definitely think if you do come here, I think it's worth checking out the old city, Maiden Tower. There's something that's called 30 Steps. I don't know what the actual name of it is. It's kind of like, it's near the Flame Towers, and you walk up and you get a really beautiful panoramic view of the city. And there's like cafes and stuff up there. That's really pretty. The Promenade, where you walk around the Caspian Sea, that's very pretty. What else? In the summertime, there's some beach resorts that are supposed to be really nice. I didn't get to go to any of those, but I've been told they're really good. Outside of the city, I really recommend Sheki, which is like a very small city in the north, but it's much more authentic. You see like the original Azeri building styles. There's like an old palace there that I think is definitely worth your time. It's very beautiful. I think what else? In Baku. That's really all I can think of. Fountain Square in Baku, that's kind of like the main hangout area. They've really built that up. That's like a lot of shops and stuff. But that's a nice area you can kind of walk around in. Yeah. I think those are the things I would say are the most beautiful. Baku is very small. So that's another thing, like if you come here you have to think about. I mean, within 2 days you've seen everything, you know. I easily walk the entirety of this city. It's a very small city. What I don't think is worth really seeing is Flame Towers, which is one of the symbols of Baku. The mud volcanoes, I don't know if I think they're worth seeing for people outside. So I myself really wanted to see the mud volcanoes. They're like a national wonder of Azerbaijan. Other people, I don't know if they're going to be that interesting. I just remembered something that is interesting though. The fire temple that you have to, that's one of the few places you have to go with a cab. It's maybe like 20 minutes outside the city, but they have like an old fire temple still existing from back when the people prior to Islam, when they were fire worshippers. I think it's called No, I'm not going to be able to say it correctly in English, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to butcher it. Yeah. It's not, I don't know, I can't really tell you guys. Oh, there's a big jazz festival. They're really like jazz here. So if you're into jazz, I think in the fall they have a lot of jazz festivals and stuff like that. I think that would be something interesting to check out for people. Formula One is here. I went to that and I was surprised it was a lot more interesting than I thought I would be into something like that because I'm not a car person. But Formula One was actually pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't really know what to tell you guys about Baku. Like, it's a pretty city. If you happen to be in this part of the world, you know, if you happen to be somewhere else that's close by and you're like, I might as well check out Baku. Like, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. It's very beautiful. It's cheap to go out to shop, to go out to eat. For like a day or two just to walk around, I think it's a very beautiful city and a nice experience. If for more than that, I don't think it's going to be that interesting for you guys. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I have to say, like, this last year went by very quick. I actually can't believe it's my last day already. And I have to say I was treated very well here. This was probably, in terms of teaching, the best position I've had yet. I love my boss. I love my boss, the lady who actually hired me. And I loved the director in one of the schools. The director in the other school was also nice, but I just really liked the director in the other school. And they treated me very well. My pay to living expense was very good. I lived like a king in this country. I think for the local people, like I said, a lot of local people, they leave this country because their pay to living, for them, it's very expensive. But for foreigner, my pay to living was very high, and I really couldn't even spend my paycheck. It was not possible. Like, if I bought everything I could even remotely think I would want to buy that I saw on the street or something, like, I was not able to get through my paycheck. You know, and there's so many fresh fruit and vegetables here. Like, I'm not used to that from Germany. Like, in Germany, veggies and fruit are very, very expensive. It's a very cold country, you know. It's cold almost all the time, so we definitely don't have like huge harvests. Fruit and veggies are very expensive, especially if they're local. But here I've been eating like cherries and strawberries and currant and mulberries and all this kind of stuff, like crazy, just big bags of it. That was probably one of my favorite parts of this living experience here. Yeah. So I'm glad I came here. It was a good experience. If you happen to be in this part of the world, I think you should check it out. I don't know if it's a place. It's not a place that I think I'm ever going to come back to, which I'm okay with. I'm not as heartbroken about leaving Azerbaijan as I was like when my contract in Japan. Leaving Japan for me was very hard. I really loved Japan. Where here it's like I really love the work environment. I like the people, but I have to admit there was many weekends where I was very bored. I was just like, in Japan there was always like something that I was like, oh, I want to do this, I can't wait for the weekend. But here I was like, another weekend, I guess I'll walk around a little bit, you know. Okay, anyway, now I'm just rambling. If you guys have any questions about Azerbaijan, I definitely think if you leave Baku, there's nothing. Like, outside of Baku, there's no gay scene whatsoever. And the next biggest city is already way, way smaller, and there's nothing there. There's like one little street you can walk up and down to. It's a pretty city, actually. They're doing the same thing as they're doing in Baku, where they're like tearing down everything and rebuilding it in the image of what they would like their country and their cities to stand for, but it's still very small and there's nothing going on there. So, yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and take care. Bye.